we go to our keynote address for the day. And as we all wished for and expected, is going to be done by Jussara Korngold. So her keynote speech today is going to be Spiritist Group. So with you, Jussara Korngold.
Thank you, Lilian. So, yeah, today it's all about Spiritist Group. It's all about us understanding the importance and why do we do this work. The part that each one of us plays in this work, what we are doing here, more and more with everything that is happening in our planet. We've been searching for answers. We've been finding so many people that do not have the least understanding about spirituality, about their purpose in life, and when facing with so many challenges, it makes it very, very hard for them to endure. And so what would be our role, and what would be the role not only of SGNY but all the many institutions that we have throughout the world? And there are many. I mean, in this country alone, we are almost 100 institutions, and already with a national federation, state federations, which SGNY is part. So I brought to you today a message from a spirit. His name, or how he is known, is Batuíra. His name was Antonio Gonçalves da Silva. He was born in Portugal, actually, in the 1800s. And his family migrated to Brazil at the time. And he went to Brazil, lived in Rio de Janeiro, then in the small city in the state of São Paulo. Then in São Paulo, he married, and then he had a second wedding because his first wife died. And it was with the loss of his first son that he started becoming curious. He wanted to understand, and the loss of his son was very difficult for the couple. And so they found all the comfort and explanations in the Spiritist doctrine and the Spiritism at that time. And so he dedicated himself from that point on to the dissemination of Spiritism. He found many, many centers throughout Brazil, in Sao Paulo, Minas, Rio, many other places. He contributed with the dissemination through the monthly magazine that we had at the time, together with Dr. Bezerra as well, that is called Reformador, the Reformer. And so he brought this message through the hands and the mediumship of the Francisco Cândido Xavier, which I'm going to share with you, and we are going to comment on that before going to our session of Q&A. And so let me share with you my screen so we can go through that together. So the message is called Spiritist Group. And everything that we've been doing today is trying to understand the purpose, the importance, and how can a Spiritist group contribute not only to our lives, but to the lives of each and every one. So he started comparing the Spiritist group to a vessel. And he says, a vessel always carries on. That's why we chose it to be the symbol that represents our group work, since a ship at sea remains among constant dangers. So the idea of a Spiritist center here is that regardless of what happens, we have to keep on going. And which is exactly what we are doing. We had to adapt so many times. I mean, if we were going to be talking about, you know, the this 20 years, how we started, the people and the work and the program, and now virtually and all of that. I mean, we have to keep on going. That is the idea, that we are always moving, we are always with a purpose. And this doesn't mean that we will not have to face, you know, good times and bad times, difficult times, and times that things are going to be easier. So that's why he, in this way, he brings the idea of a vessel that has an objective, and that has to be keep on going through in direction of the objectives, and their objective, and facing whatever, you know, the sea is going to bring. So here he says, if it doesn't endure the storm, it plummets to the bottom. So at this moment when we are facing the struggles, I mean, whether we face it, all everything that comes to us, or we are not going to succeed, or we are going to perish. And this is the beauty in terms of everything that we learn from Spiritism, because it gives us the strength, the understanding for us to have the necessary tools to deal with whatever comes in our way. If we stop, we are only going to delay the journey. There is no way for us to go back. Yeah, we can stop. We have our free will, but then we will miss precious time, and we don't want you to do that anymore. If we do not defend, if it does not defend itself, it is threatened by sea monsters. So there is nothing wrong in us trying to defend ourselves. What does it mean to defend ourselves? That we are going to go like in a war and fight? No, we are going to use the tools that we learned from Jesus himself, you know, to keep ourselves, to remain calm, to pray, to protect ourselves, to do whatever we can in order not to become easy prey of all those that somehow, because they do not yet understand the purpose of the work, the purpose of all the improvement we want to achieve, wants to somehow jeopardize our progress. If it doesn't have a precise directions, it is destined to get lost, having to bear the consequences. So this is one thing that Spiritism makes it very clear to us by saying, you are an immortal spirit. You know, you started your journey at a certain point in time when you began as you know, a simple spirit, but your destination is to become each time more evolved. And we mean evolved according to the understanding and what we learn from the Spirit Manual, with the two wings of evolvement, learning, accomplishing things through the side that represents our intellect, but also through the side of love that represent our spirituality. So we know where we are going through. It's very much like the prodigal son that has left to the world and now has to start its way back to God. So our objective, our direction is to do that, to work, to march towards, you know, becoming a more, you know, enlightened spirit. Yes, a Spiritist group serving Christ is a precious vessel that gets struck all the time, illuminated and pursued by elements that are unleashed by nature when imbalance arises. I'm sure that all of you that are, you know, reading that, hearing these words will think about an example, a situation in which you felt the same kind of pressure. Here we are talking about the life of a Spiritist group, but let us remember that a Spiritist group is made up of, you know, its components, which are us, right? It's not necessarily just the four walls. Here we are without these four walls. They are so familiar to us, but we keep on going and we keep on maintaining this communion amongst us. But the thing is, we cannot overlook the fact that it's part of our process of evolvement to, to face the situations that are common and ordinary in our day-to-day lives. So all the time we will feel those kind of pressures. It can be from the family members, it can be from our professional life, something related to our health, whatever the situation it is that it presents to us. We should not allow ourselves to become completely imbalanced before those situations, because otherwise it's like, we risk to stagnate, to stop our progress. And like it was saying here before, this spirit, we can perish. So that is why we ask the hearts and souls of our companions to have conviction in their beliefs, because this is what happened. Many times we start in the Spiritism, we start in the Spiritist group, and everything is good as far as nothing is happening to me or my family or my loved ones. But as soon as, life happens, we start questioning whether, there is really a God. What is God doing that is not paying attention, that now I'm putting all the effort to become a better person, and why are those things still happening to me or to my family? This is where we see how much we lack this conviction. We still do not have that faith. There is a natural part of us, because when we reach that, we will understand that this is part of, dwelling in a world of still trials and atonement, although we are going to a period of transition. So we have to think about it. We have to strengthen our faith. And every time, those thoughts come to us, we should find or look for strength and center ourselves in prayer, in meditation, in good reading, in conversations among ourselves, so that we can keep on going. So even if the pace seems slow, let us proceed steadily. Here is not a matter of, we are not racing against anyone, and not even against ourselves. You see, the thing is, I love this saying that we have: slowly but surely. This is what we and the spirits propose to us. It doesn't matter how slow you're moving forward. The thing here is keep on going no matter what. And many times what happened in our past lives, and even in this one, is that we stop it. For whatever reason, we stop it, and then we waste the precious time. So we have to keep on moving. The work belongs to the one who assigned us for the trip, and the port shines full of light and blessings. So many times we look around, and we see you know things, and we think, I mean, well, things could be better. Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. We want things to be better. But sometimes, for the moment, we cannot do better than we already are doing. You see, this is all we can give for the moment, as a group, as individuals. And sometimes we look around and we say, and this is a very common question, many people say, why the spirits do not appear, collectively all over the world, and prove to each and every one that, the world of the spirits is a reality. We had that basically in the 19th centuries, where, all this burst of mediumistic phenomena were happening all over the world, and still here we are almost 2 centuries later, and it hasn't changed that much in terms of quantity or in a pace that we wanted to change, because it depends on us. It depends on our inner structure. So we have to focus very much on the progress that we are doing, on the efforts that we are doing to progress, and understand that, yeah, we have eternity before ahead of us, which doesn't mean that we have to procrastinate, but there is there is a rhythm to all of this to happen. And always remembering that God is, in control, that Jesus, responsible for our planet Earth here, is paying attention to what is happening. And we can be sure that everything is following according to God's designs. So may we not be seduced by less noble thoughts, neither protest during the storm, nor rejoice in the island of illusion where fantasies are interweaved with gold dust. This is, like we were saying before, not only when we are facing difficulties, it can be a very challenging a moment in life for us, but also when we are facing the opposite, that everything is good, that we are enjoying life, that life couldn't be better, we tend to forget about God, about spirituality, about our purpose, and why we are here on earth. So not even becoming too uh, uh, dismayed by everything bad that is happening, but not also numbed by all the illusions that can bring us temporary happiness that will not take us to this objective that we're talking about. So let us always work keeping unity and trust at the heart of our activities. So without union and trust, it's very hard for us to work together. We are very blessed here, and in the SGNY, because from the beginning we have established, or we're trying to establish this unity. We have space for everyone to come and to voice their ideas, their opinions, their complaints, and we've been working in this together, never losing sight that none of us are more important than the other, because we are here all to do the work that Jesus has assigned to us. It is not always the presence of wind that subdues the ships that sail bravely. It's often the absence of compass. So this is what we have to have it very clear. As a group, what is our objective? Just to make it grow, just to have a lot of people just saying or coming in and attending our meetings, or we are here doing this work that was assigned by Jesus and helping each other to be able to deal with life in a clearer way, and of course to be able to follow on their paths towards spirituality. So we have to have this very clear. We are not here serving a particular group or serving a particular group of people. We are here following the directions that Jesus left to us, and that was even more explained to us through the books that we received in terms of the spiritism, and that up to this day we are receiving from the voices of the spirits. So this compass is a safe guide to the necessary for the accomplishment of the duties to which we have been called. So here again, um, if we understand that, if we have this very clear, regardless of the differences we may have, I can say, okay, I don't think necessarily the way you think. I have opinions that may differ from you on this point or that point, but one thing we have it clear: we are here to serve Jesus. We are here to help our brothers and sisters. We are here to better ourselves. So this is the compass that we have to have, and this is what we have to follow. So, no matter what happens, let us make use of prayer to reconcile differences that may arise. And this happen. I mean, there is no way this is not going to happen. Even in small things, we may have more than one opinion, more than one understanding. It doesn't mean that one is better than the other. We have to work together and see which one is more convenient, especially considering the goals that we have. And when and if we have this in mind, and if we keep ourselves, when I say here in terms of prayer, we are saying in terms of being capable of attuning with the high uh, levels of life, with the higher levels of spirituality. So let prayer be what appeases us inwardly, as prayer makes beings reflect the highest spheres of life. So what the Spirit is inviting us, because He knows. He was the one, like I said, he founded many spiritist groups, and I mean, at the beginning, when everything was happening, he understands about human nature. He understands about our weaknesses, our different of opinions. But in a way, he's trying to say us here, in order for us to have this vessel that can fulfill its duties, that is continuing sailing and reaching a safe port, is when we find trust, unity, and we use prayer in order to give us balance and to make us more tolerant and patient in relation to what we have to accomplish, and in relation to the people we'll be working together. None of us are here by chance, and I'm sure we all had this invitation much before our reincarnation. You're going to be living in New York City, or you're going to be remain there, and at a certain point, which was for us 20 years ago, you are going finally to solidify this work, putting together this institution, this organization, so that you can all meet each other at a certain point in time, and can fulfill the commitments that you have accepted. But the main commitment of all that, and this is the reason why we are here and incarnate, and with this blessing opportunity of having this understanding and this knowledge, is actually because we got tired of suffering, of everything that we used to do in our past, every every experience that has been a stain in our memory, and we said, enough. I don't want to keep on going like this anymore. So please help me with a new life, where I can not only fulfill this desire of growth, of understanding, of leaving behind everything that has made me fail so many times, and help me to pave a different way. And if this is true service to others, so be it. And help me to be your instrument, a good tool to help in the building of a new era, in the building of a new world, a world of regeneration, like we have just starting now. So this is, some food for thought that we brought to you today. We wanted to really lead you to meditate about all that. As you could see, all our um, program today was about us thinking about the importance of each one of us as a small engine and a small part in the greatest picture that we have, that is life, that is the universe, and with all that we have and all the opportunities that we have. So may all the spiritist centers throughout the world be blessed. May all of us feel this, embrace from the spirits, because in a way they are counting on us to do the work that for the moment they cannot accomplish for the lack of a physical body, but they can utilize and inspire us to continue doing that. And soon enough, we are going to change roles. It will be them back here and us there doing the same thing, hopefully. Okay.